It's your girl Queen with a K, and guess what I got for your soul today? I'm back. Did you miss me? Did you miss me? I missed y'all. I honestly missed like coming on here and talking to y'all. So guess what? It's time to move on to step 3. Step 3 is probably the very beginning step to taking your power back from your trauma. So this is my official trauma series. For those of you who are just clicking on this video, I have done 2 steps prior to this video. This video is specifically step 3 to how to overcome your trauma, your past trauma. These are steps that I personally took. So disclaimer, I am not speaking from a place of expertise. I'm speaking from a place of experience. So these are steps that I took to overcome my trauma. I'm still fighting it each and every day, but I am victorious nonetheless. Y'all, I'm not even gonna lie, I am dog tired. Today has been a very, very long day, but I told y'all I was coming with 3 videos a week, and I meant it. I wasn't playing with y'all whatsoever. So step 3. In step 1, we talked about how to acknowledge it. In step 2, we talked about how to call it out. In step 3, we are about to talk to our trauma face to face. Face to face. Stay with me. Step 3 is confront it. Y'all, you have to confront your trauma. Before you confront any human being, before you can have the power and the control to confront a human being the right way, you have to be able to confront yourself, and you have to be able to confront your trauma, the actual thing that has really been taking over your mind, your body, your spirit, whatever impact it may have had on you, big or small. You have to be able to confront the actual problem. Because like I said in step 2, again, if you haven't go back and watch those previous videos if you have not already. Like I said in step 2, there will come a time where we're going to confront the actual people that may have played a role in your trauma, but you have to be able to confront the actual issue first. And this again brings focus to the actual problem, not the person that may have brought the problem to you, if that makes sense. So we need to fight the problem before we fight the person. How to confront it? Do not run. Stop running. Whatever your trauma was, big or small, it is time to stop running. And granted, you may have been like me. You may have not even known that you were running away from it. But if you are someone who has been avoiding it, you know that there's something wrong as far as, you internally, there's something that you've been battling, dealing with, struggling with, you can't put your finger on it. 9 times out of 10, it's something that happened to you in the past that you haven't yet to confront. And so it's continuing to show up in little spurts in your life. So I always tell people, if you want to know about the present, check the past, because your past has a lot to do with where you are today, whether that's a good or a bad thing. It can honestly go either way. It's time to stop running, and I'm here to hold your hand. I'm here to be your yes man in the background when it comes to confronting this bully that we're gonna call your trauma. So again, going back to the previous video that where I talked about this, think of your trauma as a bully. So if you see your bully in the hallway and you're finally fed up, which we are, if you're watching this video, you're fed up. When it comes to confronting your bully, you have to be brave. You have to be courageous. And in this instance, for example, my bully was and is anxiety. And your trauma, again, may not have a name. It may have a name, whatever, your trauma is. It's a bully. If it has found a way to take over your life in a negative way and you have not had the power and the tools to combat it the right way. The second video, we was finally calling our bully out. We was saying, hey, anxiety, hey, depression, hey, abandonment issues, hey, trust issues, whatever your trauma is. So imagine in this step, imagine your bully turning around and looking at you like, who are you talking to? In this step, we're saying, I'm talking to you. We're confronting it. So the bully is on its way to look at us face to face. Don't run, click off this video. Stay here, you can do it. I'm here, I'm right here with you. So in this step, actually talk to your trauma. Tell your trauma how it made you feel in that situation. Tell your trauma how it's making you feel today. Tell your trauma the role that it has played in your life, the things that it has robbed you of, the things that it has robbed you from, the love and the joy, the peace, the happiness, the strength that you have been neglecting because of it. Y'all, your trauma can take a major toll on your life. You do not take this step lightly. Actually talk to your trauma. If you cannot talk to your trauma and tell your trauma how it made you feel in a space by yourself, wherever you feel best to say it, in your car, I don't care. But if you are not able to talk to your trauma by yourself, how do you expect to confront your mom? How do you expect to confront your dad? How do you expect to confront whoever in your life, whoever was in your life at that moment that added to that traumatic experience? How do you expect, regardless of whether they've passed, whether you don't know how to get in touch with them, regardless of it, that step is going to come. But how do you expect to look those people in the eye and tell them, you hurt me? How are you able to do that? You're not, right? It is going to be very difficult to do that if you can't even, confront your trauma by yourself first. So the last and final part to this step is to feel it. Sit in it. Y'all, I cannot explain how grateful I am to have been blessed with people who enhanced my vulnerability. I'm very grateful and very blessed to have the ability to willingly be vulnerable, the ability to willingly tell you how I feel, tell you my emotions, and just sit and talk with myself and just, dissect stuff. I am a Cancer once again, so I am an overthinker. I love to not talk to myself, but I love to figure things out amongst myself. Me being an overthinker, I analyze and sometimes overanalyze a lot of things. So I just have a very tight connection and a very tight bond when it comes to feeling. I can tell how somebody else is feeling by their energy. All they have to do is walk in the room. They don't even have to speak to me. Being able to master that within myself has been one of the greatest gifts. You will not find a more rewarding experience in your life as far as self-love goes than sitting with yourself and actually loving on yourself. And I mean loving on yourself, like literally asking yourself, how are you? Are you okay? And being okay with telling yourself, no, I'm not okay today. Today I feel sad. Today I am pissed off. Today I want to find love. Today I miss this person. Today, just being open and honest and vulnerable with yourself is so powerful, y'all, because it really puts a lot of things into perspective. It puts life into perspective. It puts love into perspective. And it just really, really helps to be able to communicate with yourself and check in on yourself and show yourself that care and that attention that you honestly need, that life may, deter you from, because life gets busy, y'all. I'm telling you, I literally got off work at 5 o'clock and I don't even know what time it is right now that I'm recording this. It's probably already 8 o'clock at night. Life has a way of blowing you off course to what's really important in your life. And talking amongst yourself and checking in on you and making sure you're good internally, externally, whatever, is very, very important. Because if you're not good, nothing else will be able to stand if you're not strong enough to. And in order for you to be strong enough, you have to do those check-ins with yourself. You honestly do, because if you're not going to check on you, how can you expect somebody else to? Why would you expect somebody else to if you can't even check in on yourself? Give yourself that time. Give yourself that attention. Give yourself that affection that you're seeking from maybe outside sources or outside things. And, really get in tune with yourself. I'm telling you, it's rewarding as I don't know what. I can't stress that enough. So when I was going through this step of actually sitting in it, it was scary. It was very uncomfortable because I knew I was going to have to admit a lot of things to myself that I didn't want to admit. I was going to have to admit that I was weak in that moment. I was going to have to admit that I was probably dumb and foolish in that moment. Because outside of the trauma that happened in my past, I also took the time to confront, how that trauma that happened when I was younger, I was able to sit and confront, you know, the issues that it has caused me throughout my life. And to be able to admit to yourself that you let yourself down is harder than it looks, it's harder than it seems, but it is possible. So for me, when I was doing this step, honestly, when I was going through this entire series of steps, I didn't have major responsibilities. So each and every day I did this. Each and every day I did, whereas I'm uploading these steps for you maybe every 2 days or maybe every 3 or 4 days, I was able to do these steps within a matter of a week. So notice I said I was able to complete the steps. I had to go back and continue to, you know, redo those steps, because you do them initially, but sometimes it's like a bad perm, it just don't take. So you got to go back and you got to try again. But when I was doing this, I really didn't have, you know, any real responsibility, so I had a lot of time on my hands. That may not be your case, but I'm telling you, you have to prioritize this, because this can honestly make or break your future. I'm not even joking. Like, if you don't take the time to take care of you mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, and really get to the root of the problem, which is probably 9 times out of 10 your past, your future is going to constantly look clouded. It's constantly going to seem like you don't know who you are, you don't know what you want to do in life. I'm telling you, there's so many hidden gems, there's so many answers to the questions that you've probably been asking yourself for years in your past. You just don't realize it, and you can't see it with the naked eye. So fortunately for me, I was able to take the time to sit in it and actually feel it, and it hurt, y'all. It hurt so much. I can't even like put it into words how much it hurt. To reflect on the things that I've gone through in my past and the things that I went through in my, you know, relationships, friendships, and just life in general because of my trauma. I can't put it into words how, you know, strong I felt afterwards, but luckily I didn't have, you know, a lot of responsibility, so I was able to sit in it, feel it, cry if I wanted to, go for a walk if I wanted to, go somewhere and scream, lay in bed all day if I felt like it. And there will be those days when you're doing these steps, there will be days where you just want to literally be alone. And I had quite a few of those days. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a lot of those days where I did not want to be bothered. I barely ate. I am not advising that at all. My stuff was all connected and intertwining amongst one another, and a lot of stuff. You know how you try to focus on fixing one problem, and then you realize that this problem caused a whole bunch of other problems? It just really takes a toll on you, and it's energy draining. So honestly, I did eat. Let me not say that. It's not that I didn't eat. I just didn't have an appetite. Like, I wasn't like, oh, what you cooking, Mom? Like, it was none of that. But yeah. So make sure that you are taking the adequate and appropriate time. You are putting yourself in the appropriate environment to be vulnerable. Whether that's writing it out first and reading it out loud, or whether that's looking at yourself in the mirror, wherever you feel safe enough to open up to yourself. Because honestly, for me, I did feel safe where I was. Even though I was in my room, I still felt safe. I felt safe enough for my mom to walk in there and I'd be bawling into tears, and she would either close the door, or she would either close the door and ask me about it later, or she would come in and give me a hug, because me and my mom just have an amazing connection. Like, she is not the type of person to automatically assume that, you know, the sky is falling when I cry, because she knows that I'm that type of kid. She knows that I would cry at the drop of a dime, and I could be as happy as a lamb. But I'm that type of person. Like, I'm not afraid to cry, y'all. So I love that about my mom. I love the fact that even when I was in my room and I was having my moments, and she would see me or come in the door to ask me a question, she would either close the door and ask me about it later, or she would not even talk to me about it at all. She would come in and kiss me on my forehead or give me a hug, and then she would leave. She understood that there were things that I was going through, and 9 times out of 10, while I was crying, I was on the floor. I was praying or something. She knew that there was something I was dealing with, and I was strong enough to deal with it by myself. So she didn't feel the need that she had to come in and, you know, save the day, or come in and ask me a bunch of questions. What can I do? How can I fix it? So make sure you are in a safe environment to feel vulnerable and to not feel like you have to whisper, not feel like you have to wipe your tears and be like, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine. Stop doing that. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to other people, because you're lying to yourself. And yourself, you deserve more than that. You deserve more than, the probably, I don't know how many years of you saying, I'm fine, I'm sorry, I'm okay, and you're not. So make sure you're giving yourself that appropriate time. Don't do this on a lunch break. Please don't do this on a lunch break, because you never know what is going to come out when you're sitting in this, when you're taking the time to feel this. When you unlock that door and your feelings and your emotions and everything, comes out and just like it just spurts out, you never know what's going to happen. And I made sure that I was in the right, mindset, space, and environment to accept whatever was coming, no matter how hard it was to accept it, no matter how uncomfortable it was, no matter how painful it was, no matter how sad it was, or no matter how much, it pissed me off. I gave myself that freedom in that space. It is very, very important in this step to make time for yourself. Show up for you. Like I said, in this part, in part 1, we are focusing on you. You will not be able to, have an effective communication with anyone else from your past. You will not be able to deal with outside sources until you are able to master you. So I cannot stress this enough. In this step, make time for you. Show up for you. If you're a full-time parent, if you're a student, if you are, a 9-to-5 worker like me, take the time. You have weekends, you have days off, I'm sure. Make the time, y'all. I'm telling you, make the time. If you have a schedule, if you're that busy to where you have a planner and a schedule, mark it down. Put it in there. I promise you. It is probably more important than anything you have on that schedule anyway. Because like I said, if you're not good, nothing else around you will be able to stand the test of time. It just won't happen. Your relationships won't be able to stand the test of time. Your relationships with your family won't be able to stand the test, because you have to master you first before you can begin to invite anybody else into your circle or anything else into your circle. So take this step seriously. Do this step like your life depends on it, because healing is a serious thing, and it's very, very important to what's ahead for your future. So if you enjoyed this vibe, if you're ready for step 4, click like, share, and subscribe, because I promise you, we're healing, y'all. I can feel it. I already feel you coming out of this thing. I feel you just thriving and just growing in love, growing in God, growing in life in general. And I'm very, very happy for you already. I'm very, very excited for you. So I'm coming with step 4, and we're getting it, y'all. We're getting there. I promise we're getting there. And I'm smiling because I know how good it felt to come out on the other side. Granted, I'm still doing the work. This is an all-day, everyday journey. It's a never-ending journey. Self-love and self-care and healing is a never-ending journey in my eyes, because there's always going to be something that we can work on within ourselves. But I know how good it felt to finally let some things go that happened in my past, as far as my traumatic experiences. So I'm excited. All right, y'all, I'm getting ready to clock out. I still have quite a list of things that I need to get done before I can get some shut-eye. So I will get this video up for y'all, and step 4 is coming. Peace.